Abusia who be a coso in the camp of the NDC say baby I butu na utumi hu say eja na ewo NPP more with regards to presidential candidacy race no I say enche be a transfer akọ the part of the NDC and say na quite say rumors be a coso say General Asiedu Nketia obi a ono pese pray for the ticket of NDC no be so pray for presidential candidate na eno mu enankofo bi aba be kasa say dabi omo mpene so obeye sa na foforo nso kasa obetumi apre amana yeye na nanse ya wo hwe global info analytics APA na information out to me say he has a very great chance of also winning the heart of the NDC ono to me gina na wo hwe politics here about uta hu say anankofo a yeta bom achi bebre no omo na sometimes it looks like they are the preferred candidates of the people enti hit na eda Asiedu Nketia so eneno the question ankofo bisa ne say obetimi aye candidate amana yeyi ana we ena omo NDC constituency organizer bakwa onidindi TK TK say nsema koso nanse we hu Asiedu Nketia movement bi a oye o say Asiedu Nketia enka ne kra na wo nta nhye political shoot won ta nhye kafetan yi bi nanso nanse wo dressing asesa agenda wu pushi a wo ko thank you to ibi na wo sin ha na ona etifi una ma epoye anafo nyina no na je say presidency na say weni edi echire na o say ono owo information bebiri osanso wo secret na sa secret no so be reveal e de atoga na ha Asiedu Nketia nka edro bia be ka dem ma wuntumi ma megina o se wo be presidential candidate o enti yenko tie owura TK emno o kireche ni nsemu na o de kasi Asiedu Nketia be careful as a presidency ne pa de o se ono ene NDC fo bi aka de o mpene e ma wo ma na wo mefa yentie no
become much TK okay can say you chiri kwapa wa yilem aya mo MP honorable Felix one time now call you who dey hwe 2020 hwe me besi Osa mamicho me de ma ho de anim nindie o ani sika ka bo no be support party no sabi obi ama no down enti me meti wo no utu me kire me say party na me makubi ho ma party na ba power no e go position e je juma because of who self interest I said you get you very careful omo mu de chomo ntudofo anya say se be kan obenu no put we who catch say who she coat that na so she coat that baja and na nam help ma pede di what's that every coat abro ko America go say my jacket hey masa let's be the fact
okay
I'm being honest with you I didn't know time ni wo it is a français on a bout you examine ko yesa what people talk
okay
say a big minister and the question what people talk you can't the correct say you make sure say and you man
Abusia o say honorable Julius the boy chief of staff and ono nso yes any Asiedu Nketia ye ya what people will talk what people will say no no kwa de ha no krampo ni se emre bi etwem Asiedu Nketia kwa abrochire de ho no wanya atade papa bi anhye amfa represent NDC amfa represent ne ho amfa represent Ghana for nene eno we hu political suit sha na o se dabi se aba ne sa na eya na NDC for na mpo no o se omumu bebre na no omunim se ne hierarchy no etie enti ono ye constituency organizer no wa bon ne ho modern pa se obeye niam bi ye pa na sa niam na oye ne so ono no contribute as a founding member at the boa party no in any way possible enti on hwe ma party a nyame aye o madom a enoma be geni power no na Asiedu Nketia de ne ho e ba be ne na mo amalu super power bi mo se da bi no de ensi not under his watch and on video fufu bi nso e wo ho na ma ye wo a Asiedu Nketia was shaking hands with Julius Debra na quite the two contenders according to say nkofo mienu a nim say they have the possibility of contesting for the presidency candidacy no and omahia na wo hwe handshake na tin say we dey mo rem yankon yankon sa video no producer fato so ema ye na yankon brasisia Abusianfo anu nti wei ene video aye ko hwe ya utumi se Asiedu Nketia wakọ function bi ase na wo hwe se na wa iron suit na ane so to say the suit is suiting ane the suit is suiting no sanso ko shake hands with Julius Debra na afi de otena ne nchen kama na nkofo se we nyina no politics ni abi o politics na abi ezan se Asiedu Nketia na nke yenimu nka batakadi emu oduru chese utumi se batakadi we ye de fa ho a utumi hwefom kra e ma ne ye no anu bi na ahye nanso na nsen de ba ne sen na batakadi we jade atofom na ne de political suit na o hye anu nti owura ye constituency organizer Mr. TK de o se ono oye kasamafo na o kasa no onim se nko wo support pa enti ebesan kwa kotie owura TK biom emra na o kase Asiedu Nketia enye obi a omo hwe kwan se oba begina ho for a presidential candidacy on the ticket of the NDC in the coming years eba no yenkoti owura TK
become a children. TK okay can say aya mo MP honorable Felix now call you who dey 2020 hwede me besi Masa, mami cho. Me de ma hu odi enim nindie o ani sika ka bo na be support party no. Sabi obi ama no down. Enti me meti wo no. Utu me kire me say party na me makumi ho ma party na ba power no. E go position. E dey juma. Okay. Because of who self interest. I said you get you very careful. Omo mde cho muntu dofo. Anya say se be kan obelu no. Put we who catch say who she coat to that. Na so she coat to that baja. E na na help o ma penye di. What's that address coach? Abra ko America go say my jacket. Hey. Master, let's be the fact. Okay. I'm being honest with you. I didn't know air time. Any rule. It is a fancy. All of you examine the what people talk. What people talk. Okay. Say a year a big minister and the question what people talk. You can't the correct say you make sure say and near man of a panel yellow. And fact the ever party. No, you obviously be the boss of power. But to me, because of a chairman general. Sure. Or forget the chairman general. Okay. Now you want more. You two, the good part two shall go also. Little no your Hobajanka, your woman, your man, and you offer a bit, or tell me because you said the course or lemon, or your campaign also, or Koto, Tobel Oko, Tobel the city to Oko. Maybe a branch organizer. It must be too bad. Okay. And I have a say to talk. What I said, when you need to come out, I'm on your corner. I will a year in this level. And yes, I can take a campaign. Who cry out to a quarrel? We a campaign. Well, to a campaign because minimum phobia. No, me and people before out to be said because of a Fufuado. I'm a more 10 time, I'm more food. They all voted for the NDC power. I'm being honest with you. It's MP. So I feel that what's MP. Anya wuti senya east already we chiko wa yilem
Abusianfo anu nti wei ene nsem a eno nso ekoso with regards to Asiedu Nketia na eno na ye MP for Old Tafo Honorable Vincent Eko Asafo no nkofo se omra no meje ne bo esan se mere bi no kasa bi ana o kanjina simpie so de kasa de akire MPP for no ka che MPP for se be ya omonye united no monka hu nyina emmom no monye adwuma ni ye sanse o man hwe ni ya no man very careful Asiedu Nketia ba be ye the president obegina de ama Ghana na obegina ama NDC no ogina ama NDC ana je se onu so betumi aye betumi afre no President Asiedu Nketia ama na yeye enti MP for Old Tafo NPP nin o sanso ye lawyer nin na emro kan asem ni ewie ye na nkofo se o we de ya tesem ye mfa anya hwe afofro so o we de papai ye guess bi na guess ye na tom nanso nsem a efofro na eboboba no na nkofo se debi akoye de se asem na honorable kan ye ya abamu enti omra no meje ne boy sanse we de akoye de se we hu vision bi e wo honhom mu na sa vision na ene NDC fo bimpo asode a omo ka se we de omo ntena se ema no emmemu ema Asiedu Nketia ema megina as presidential candidate nti yenkwane yenkoti ensem a eye honorable Vincent Eko ekaye emra no oka bibi e de a kire se Asiedu Nketia has the possibility or probability of standing as a candidate for NDC in terms of their presidential race now.
We have broken the 8, or it was difficult for us to break the 8. Understood? Let's understand that perspective. But as a serious political party, what we do from now, because we know say elections, a process. It's not an event that you wait till 2024 and go and win an election. You have to start from now and see what will happen tomorrow. And then I'm not telling them about even UK and other places. How many of us even pick our phone to even post MPP or even defend something MPP on our social media platforms? NDC winning social media because nipa bako otimifa the phone who are creating about 20 different fake accounts. To do and say asamba ko ba no de tweety and also they cancel at the far party home. Then utifia no say hey MPP kura no say omo nyaade o. We ourselves have even failed to do that. And I think that young people know we should be able to take social media as one of the strategic means for us to be able to bounce back as a party. Social media will play 40-50% of the 2028 elections. If we lose there, we have a problem as well. After the 31st January elections, the best say, and they say, yeah, waha, it be supported by Umia. It is okay. It be supported Ken. It is okay. We are all party people. Obi oni me political lineage biano. Enim say me normal nam napo. Enti me ne Ken. To say na opo ne Ken to say no. But he knows that we want to come together to win the 2028 elections. Nti ebesre mo. Yeko yanim no. Yankasa and also making sure say we win the 2028 elections. And yes, idea we are going to have His Excellency Asiedu Nketia. Thank you so much, Madam
Busanfo unsa asema honorable Vincent Ekan no ese okana grosso say yanhwe ni ya NPP for na no ne omo ka say omo anhwe ni ya we are going to have His Excellency Asiedu Nketia na no na nkofo say na abranche na onim say bibisa bekoso ana ezanse omo ana ebia no omo dididi omo ho nkomo e ma che say kwa akire ama na ebedu bebia abedu no nti eya Asiedu Nketia so presidency no oba abegina for presidential candidate ana na yensu ye bebisa o wonso a wo hwe yen wa wetie yen ma yenhu Asiedu Nketia obegina obevote amanana we delegate a wo hwe Ghana for delegate vote ama Asiedu Nketia on the ticket of the NDC and now say omo vote Emma no does he have a chance of standing and then does he have a chance of winning and I say send ye bi mu akoye na akoye se ya mutu no bi mu oye nim so omo kogina for presidential candidates na ade a se bi omo ne na mu kwa omo ne na mu biala na se bi omo so omo sika enti wo hwa ni sika e no bekọ akwasei se okọ into that venture and I say obetumi enya chance no e de akọ baby a opese opreko as a presidential candidacy enti we any update I no so ewo ho ye moving on to the next update na ye kọ ye nima na chese ukọ New York abonten so a ehonom aye de pa den na ekọ so ewo New York mountain so abrantie bi a chese ni din e de oye grandson of Nkrumah, grandson of Nkrumah, your friend Yusuf Nkrumah. Now the Sambi Ababa Tuja concerning or Sajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. But before say a bit cohonom no, yanko share video be a bar na yantuaso.
Have broken the 8, or it was difficult for us to break the 8. Understood? Let's understand that perspective. But as a serious political party, what we do from now, because we know say elections, a process, it's not an event that you wait till 2024 and win an election. You have to start from now and see what will happen tomorrow. And then I'm not telling them about
for Mustafa Hamid, Obiana, Obeye, National Petroleum Authority for Penifoni B. Now, Mustafa Hamid in saying, ne ho abansem na chese ne court asizi ne passport eni niam bia aka ho na Mustafa Hamidi enso akwesiki se ebeya court in release those documents no emfama no ntumi nko abrochire no onko for political reasons okwakoye ne nyuma bi akwagodi ne nyuma bi ewo ho na eno mu na Kevin Taylor tie no se hene ha Ghana hade akwete se agro wonkofo ani suo wono ya chill anase wo ho abebonbon sem bi mu you and then other people na sa niama no mu nti na ye seize your passport na ye se to bo ase ne yenye nhwehwemu ma ye hu se ne asem ne fade ba ne bebie ekọ esiti a wo so wasan nya kokodo san ba be request for passport o se dabi ma obi emfi no enu nti wo hwe ye screen no so a Mustafa Hamid no na eda so no enti OSP versus Mustafa Hamid and 9 others. High Court to hear Mustafa Hamid. Enti enkohwe sa video na Kevin Taylor air fire boja edugu Mustafa Hamid so say on the ebeya on pe baby no ntena ansha. Ontena se ani ntukwan or tukwan akoye den political reason.
Now there's one story I be say kan ho asem very interesting. And OSP on Mustafa Hamid. You see, Mustafa Hamid is say High Court to hear Mustafa Hamid's application seeking release of his passport to enable him attend a political engagement in Canada on November 13th. Mustafa Hamid peso Johnny. Mustafa Hamid, some of the passports in the mano. Na opie free Ghana omba biem. Sa ofrija towe. Wallahi. On so okachira mo say, nyoma na OSP CZO sedi ndeni nyina anya ne dia. Yes, he has nothing to lose. Or the two mutrim. Say judge na oti case we so no, I want to send a very respectful message to you. These cases, it is patriotism over law. At a point in the life of a nation, in the life of the people who call themselves citizens, they sometimes choose patriotism over law. Let me tell you, if Mustafa Hamid is going to play with the law, and if you allow Mustafa Hamid to use the law to escape from what we call the justice system, then you, the judge sitting on this case, you have done Ghana a great disservice. You know why? Because we have seen the same thing happening. We have seen Ken Oforiatta taking advantage of the law, stealing millions of dollars from us, living in another country comfortably, and we struggling. In the judge crowd case, with all due respect to you, I don't know who you are. Minimum saw your bow, saw your bema. But the only advice I can give you now is if you are a patriot, because you are Ghanaian before a judge. You were born as a Ghanaian before you became a judge. That means there's Ghana blood in you before you went to school to even learn your law. And at this point, it's about protecting this nation from criminals who intend to run away from the crimes they have committed. I'm telling you on authority. Mustafa Hamid wants to run away from Ghana. If we allow Mustafa Hamid to leave this nation, that is it for us. Sa ofriwe say you book careless now osi oko Canada kwede oko political event. What the fuck? And you say be anakoma tia to ninsem ene ye koso e Canada wo. Osi politics inti no oko Canada. Inti ono na yadi krono abono a yebusa yesika no yemane enko Canada mra okoye den. And you say be anema me akoma ate ene okoso. Anase ne yiri akoma ate ene yedi glue ekoso ne yankoye ne ntama ne yiri bewu. Anase ono angasa ofiri ne hwe ate ena ye kwa akoso o Canada wu. Osi oko political event. Inti jumadia yedi edi ahwehwe esike mu no yentwa so na ono onko Canada mra. Moma sa ofiri we to plane free krum ha. Eye Ghana. Mo last ano no. Me say you know, this is not rocket science. This is simple. This is something you are supposed to understand. Wait, enisa wokon tokwa wo ho. Wait, enisa wokon entokwa bia wo ho. Now what you need to understand is that Samumba Mustafa Hamid, and I'm speaking to the judge respectfully. Me say judge never this thing as a banter. It is in a form of respect. It's in a form of an advice. I am just prompting you to be patriotic before the law. We need to be patriotic at this point. The law can come second. Because Sakwawe, a Oforiata movement in Ibia Naka. Chairman to me say, Mobo Keles, Obe Urato Gwejani. Chairman to me, Mobo Keles, Obe Ura Abijani Jani. Right now, they have come to that realization, say, so Mujania, it me for Mumba. And you see, when you learn this kind of job, sometimes, you know, one thing you need to also learn and say, Ebia, the OSP behind the scenes has negotiated with Mustafa Hamid. Maybe. And Wagacha Mustafa Hamid say, the only thing I can do for you to escape, like the way Oforiata escaped, and I said I could not do anything, is for you to go to court and tell the judge that you want to go to Canada. What I am going to do as an OSP, I will present a weak case. And when I present a weak case, your lawyer should take advantage and win that case. And at that point, when you win the case, I will tell Ghanaians it is the court that made you leave. And that when you get the opportunity to leave Ghana, don't come. It could be that's the plan. Me say, when you look at the coin too from the other side, apart from us talking to the judge and saying, Judge, please be patriot. Be patriotic over law. Let's pick patriotism over law. No? It could be to say, Ebia OSP, and I'm not saying that is what they have done. I say Ebia. OSP did not translate as a Bema. I have this relationship with you. I cannot put you inside. They are even cases going around saying, say, I negotiated with you before some time back, which nobody has evidence to. But to keep us safe, go and make a case in court that you want to go to Canada and that they should release your passport to you. Because, you know, the only person who can stand in for us as Ghanaians and protest against that, make a case against that for the judge not to allow that is the OSP. Now, if the OSP makes a weak case in court, what is going to happen is the judge will have no option than to hand over the passport to Mustafa Hamid. Now, so Mustafa Hamid pay free Ghana. Nobody in Ghana can blame OSP. The OSP will release a statement and say the Ghanaian judiciary system is terrible. I did my part to stop this, and the judge said he can take his passport. So nobody in Ghana can blame me. Ebia, that is what is happening. That might be the plan. It's about two scenarios. First one, the judge has to be patriotic and he has to choose patriotism over law. And the judge has to understand, say, because of Oforiata, the issue, it's a precedence. And when it comes to law, somebody like the OSP should be able to tell the judge that I have experienced something like this recently, where somebody who served our nation told us he was going out and that he's going to be back. Till date, he hasn't returned. We are even struggling to bring him back. So, Mr. Judge, you are also a Ghanaian. Choose patriotism over law. Even though the law might say, but because of precedence, we need this guy. And the event he's going, if Mustafa Hamid does not go, that event will not collapse. That event he's going is a political event. And without Mustafa Hamid, that event can still go on. So why do we have to let him go? Because it is not like Mustafa Hamid nakuma tiato ninsem and also besoko Canada koso. And answer the shua, we try to show okuta. And I'll say, okuta super glue. Now, doctor no betu dia saw the shua man, doctor no Canada. One saw the shua obu. The event is going is not any event that can kill him. So Mustafa Hamid needs to stay. Anything of patriotism needs to come before law. Now, do you understand? And the other side, if we play careless, the special prosecutor will go to court and present one of the weakest cases. The judge will have no option to give the passport to Mustafa Hamid, and Mustafa Hamid will leave Ghana with his chest out because we are foolish. Yeah. I want to tell the special prosecutor something. Special prosecutor, Mamika Bincho. Ami Shaddai is a criminal. Ami Shaddai, or your crown for. And
okay. Abusia nunti senya wa wate no Kevin Taylor airport say Mustafa Hamid wo hoi trip no person okono enya trip a state of emergency and now say a trip regarding his health ye betumi aka say eno kwampo no ne health inti yama ne nko and now say a trip ono no kwakọ play a vital role our function and our political conference no see opese okono but we they are quite say obi no opese oko ne holidays be and vacation be and say ne be of interest and the person or pursue we no and no ni all ye na eno no or see it is not bigger than the nation. And soon seeing investigations at OSP and the office area. And to say beya court no on tenase. Or sanso de foot where the ama judge okro te asem no so on the onim judge okro no na mom judge ni embo mode no hu se asem no ɛsosin NDC ɛsosin MPP ɛsan so sosin one individual or no ɛpɛ ne bibi nti no onya ne bibi nso awie ne nti na ɔde atotonton saase ne ehu land cruises we bie fuel stations ne ade nyinaa echi nti na je sɛ tipa ɔkɔpɛ baabi ahyɛ sɛ ne bɛyɛ a emra no ene ne enni enti ɔse ɔmomɔmɔde no monko ɔmondo asɛm no sukɔ no montumi enni ne yie pa ɔsan so de foto e de ama OSP ni sɛ OSP no no so ɔhyɛ aseɛ ɛna ɔyɛ kune ɛna ɔne Mustafa Hamid akɔ muti abomu ɛna akɔ de sɛ ɔde hyɛdakɔ okɔ present asɛm no wie a me nso mɛyɛ me deɛ mɛyɛ ma afɛmu deɛ de ama na de sɛ nea ɔmo de adwin bi di agorɔ no sɛ dabi saa agorɔ no pa de yɛtwam as a country yɛtwam as a nation enti sɛ mo pɛ sɛ mo ne Ghana fo adwin di agorɔ de asɛ we are woke yeni ati yeni ebie enti saa de no ensi sɛnea kenofo yata yeni so ti ye no na wadwane akɔhye baabi a yɛse call for medical reasons wa cho letter de ato nkyɛn enti otumi kɔma ne yeye no yɛte ase ɛhɔ no WSP no afi de no yɛ blameless wo blame na enye ye esan sɛ ɔno nso enya letter enti letter no ne nsa kan wie yɛkɔ na yɛ sɛ kenofo yata kɔ tukwan kora de da ɔse saa case no money repeat itself with regards to Mustafa Hamid. Now Mustafa Hamid no passport na or pe agye no and any other documents no. Mo bi anfa no. No nkoso antena Ghana ha. Ne yentumi ndi na asem ne yehu asem ne nyina ne fade by. Yehu ne fade by wie na yehu se no ho oson a. And the passport no pe kora nke ebetumi ama no diplomatic passport. Ane. Oso mutumi ma no diplomatic passport ma ne ye nti no kwa kwa. Onkrobia onye sode ya na chese wakwagina airport odu ho kwa no check-ins na no so ya mana board ya honsusu baby obesi bia no so no check-ins na de okonanim enti ansana ye be wie investigation ne de liberty bia owo so the betu kan out of this country for whatever reasons probably except for health reasons I no ntimi nka se nipa no ma ne nkonko pre ayarehwe no eye emergency ne pa de Kevin Taylor said debi mo bia empene so sa emma Mustafa Hamid ene ne 9 others na omo ho aba asem a afford for the sa katahye dream ene proyensemi a ekoso ewo Ghana ho no na yento aso ewo nsem foforo mo ye to aso wonsem foforo mo a yemfri Ghana ha ni yenko New York then na ekoso ewo New York abonten so na New York mountain so no abrantie bi a ne din Zoran Kwame Mandani wa winnie mayor of New York na then the man ya sronkunti a ye ka ne ho asem say other people so winning say why are we not talking about them ne din Kwame na okra no din a onyaye as a result of yan first president Osajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah eno ena Mandani a oda ye screen si so abrante kama yi we don koye me spec pa zumi nkohu no baabi antumi ne nkanti no de amenko so ankan me news enti utumi se abrotire no ye wo two political parties a eno no every the Democrats and the Republicans. Now, no, the Democrats no acquired to say they are more in line with that of the Obama intuitions, Obama things and all that. Enso na Mandani enso ne kwan enam. Na Mandani no ono ya won word Uganda. Ya won wo Uganda no na uhwe se ne ogina ho na otumi so onchada nye broni kama onchada nye broni like two inkrani beka. Na mom oye Asianin okita and heritage with Asia. Na omo migrate to the US ho no kosua ade yire ne ho sua ade na nyame ye na dom ene ndo obegina office say assemblyman enti obi begina office as assemblyman na nkofo hwe ne modern boy na ndi omo san de begina for mayor ena nkofo etoma no ema ne beye mayor enti o video bi ono nso kasa ye kire mu se na nyame ye na dom a wabedu bebi a wedu no ye wi a ye besa nso ato with another video a eno no grandson of Osajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah so ebe kasa ye say se dina eda Mandani so no de beye adwuma de a anka ebe boa the people of New York pa yenko share video edikan embassy.
And I know that there are many here today and there are many watching and many listening who may have seen an ad mentioning my name on TV or a commercial on the radio, or a mailer in your mailbox, or a video when you're watching YouTube. And so, to quote the words of a famous New Yorker, allow me to reintroduce myself. I was born in Kampala, Uganda, in East Africa. I was given my middle name Kwame by my father, who named me after the first Prime Minister of Ghana. And decades ago, in Uganda, we won our independence from the British in 1962. We can clap for that. And when we did, the United States government gave the Ugandan government 23 scholarships as a gift for independence. And my father won one of those scholarships. He came to this country to study to be an engineer at the University of Pittsburgh. And sometime into his studies, his face buried in his book, he heard the words reverberate in the corridor around him, "Which side are you on? Which side are you on?" These were words being sung by members of SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, recruiting students to get on the bus to go to Montgomery, Alabama. And my father got on that bus. He marched. He was hosed down. He was thrown in jail. He was given one phone call. And he called the Ugandan ambassador to the United States. He said, "Can you get me out of jail?" The ambassador said, "What are you doing in jail? We sent you there to study." My father said, "You sent me here as a gift for our freedom. They are fighting for theirs. It's one and the same." My name is Zahran Kwame Mamdani. And I know that there are many here today, and there are many watching, and many...
And my name is Nati and Zoran Kwame Mandani. We didn't want bona kama na wamani history and so na bakwasem kakra send ane papa any na inkika ho send odibedu US mountain so neno onye ordinary person nemu wabeye mayor or say ane din Kwame na da ne so na din a edin onu onya hotoso ewom osanso very proud about edin ne san say first prime minister of Ghana no na Asiedu Dr. Kwame Nkrumah no ye nyuma bebre the boy Ghana for and then Africa as an extension and unti onu so bebo ne ho modern say ejuma eda ne so as mayor of New York no obeye na waye ni ye ne no na afa dia grandson of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah so ebeti ye no say oh anyway dear Kwansen Nkrumah na ye nyina ye nam yi ono your friend Yusuf Nkrumah na Yusuf Nkrumah is a Mandani winning as mayor of New York no so nani gie no say New York foi atadwe na mate denne na asamo Mandani pa na Mandani betumi aye ni niama Tizani ame nana me grandfather ni niama pa dia mamu worry about anything. It's an say bibia ni no obetumi aye no waye ni ye pa. They have the spirit of excellence within them. Ultimately so omo bo adwuma omo tumi bo adwuma no ema akomatoyem na eba. Yanko ni yanko tie Yusuf Nkrumah wo no so ni ncheche mo de ba ye mro che say Mandani Kwame winning as mayor of New York. No?
Zahran Kwame Mamdani. Kwame. Okay. Now, I just heard the new mayor of New York is named after my granddad, Kwame Nkrumah. Now, if you don't know about Kwame Nkrumah, he was the first president of Ghana and pretty much the founding father of Africa. So, what I can tell you is, if Mamdani, if he lives up to his name, New York will never be the same again. New York will never be the same again, I promise you, if he lives up to his name. To be the youngest mayor, an immigrant, he supports Palestine, and all these things, this is crazy. This is incredible, I have to give him his props.
Nti sane ye kan ye si din wo nsunsuanso bebre enti obi wo ho no ma atimi se ni din a eda no so no etumi nya effect on sane oye ni niama eso esifa enti Yusuf Nkrumah pache se edin a eda Zoran Mandani so ye edin Kwame no enye se ye wo no ebi a Saturday inti na ebi a ye de sa Kwame na ma no na mom no eye abasobodie ene adwumaden a Asiedu Dr. Kwame Nkrumah ebeyeye na okun edege ne man Ghana esanso ma Pan-Africanism anase Africa nyina nso enya sa independence ayotumi kokon ayenim no eno no se sa honhom no ebi ebetumi aba betena Zoran Mandani so na sa honhom na ebetena ne so na se sa edin na eda ne so ni nti oye ni nniama yie na obo ne nnwuma yie pa dia ene nkofo mo New York Mama worry cry sanse ejuma no obeye na waye ni yie nti congratulations once again to Zoran Kwame Mandani. Yes, ye di eni bedi echire na yahwe se edin na da no so no so eho adwuma na obeya na se enye sanso a then ekoso with him nso a with regards to niama ekoso cause according to say na Trump de offer Zoran Mandani as a communist. And he calling him as a communist is more or less like he's in the bad books of Trump. And Trump with his humble beginnings and all that. No, he doesn't really care or he doesn't give him that kind of respect but people are also calling him a socialist. That is the New York no, they are calling Zoran Mandani a socialist as somebody who is very, very passionate about the system of government that wants the government to actually help people in terms of their infrastructure, in terms of their good standard of living and all that. Enti enkofo akoma de baby ewo no ewo Mandani Kwame eho. Nanso according to say he would have a hard time with regards to the governance and with regards to his mayorship as being a mayor of New York because it looks like he's not really in the good books of Trump. But whatever it is, we will follow up and then we wish him higher successes because he started off as an ordinary assemblyman and then gradually he has gone through the ranks to be mayor of New York. Who knows where he's going to be in the coming days and in the coming years ahead of his life. It's in a hard work, a determination, a commitment that has gotten him where he is now, and people respect him for that because a lot of immigrants come into US and a lot of them do very great work to be able to earn the respect in which they carry. Once again, congratulations. Now, moving on, the next updates. Now, moving on. Free New York. Now, fire plane. Plane na fama passport na fama Mustafa no. Fire passport na brought back to Ghana. Na back to Ghana. President John Dramani Mahama on behalf of the government and on behalf of the people of Ghana. Why DAB. Wachre odo there are 3 countries based on onene bia ato sa omaino na eno ade a awehosem pa se ene woko Jamaica memu na woko Cuba na woko Sudan according to say natural disaster be a hurricane. But this particular one is very serious. Hurricane Melissa. Ena edin fama, edi storm, edi nyama bebre, ena enam. Entia affecting very, very major parts of these 3 countries amabono, particularly Jamaica. Enunti His Excellency John Dramani Mahama akoye ayedie edi ama these countries on behalf of the people of Ghana and then the government of Ghana. And so share your screens next one. Ultimately say your Ghana Presidency where your Twitter page. Now I say President John Dramani Mahama has on behalf of the government and the people of Ghana donated modest but heartfelt relief items worth 10 million Ghana cedis to 3 countries, specifically Jamaica, Cuba, and Sudan, that have been hit by a humanitarian crisis. And this is a medical humanitarian crisis. I can't have no, and your brother say, Bia, and not just say, a hurricane, no, and I say from a bonnie, and also doing so, and essay at the end of the FN to me find a storm, no, eno ena ababe hitting these three countries ama eneno eho nyina aye basa ama the livelihood a ene nkofo team no akwati se Ghana ha nso ahye da topa na nso eyiri na awura nkofo dem yo that's the picture that we are taking awura nkofo dem na ebi mu roofs etutututu no that's exactly how it is or it was there recently in Jamaica, in Cuba, and then in Sudan. Now, affected them very drastically to the point, say, people lost their shelters, and then even communication was a problem because network in BB so at the also the gesture response to the destruction caused by Hurricane Melissa, a Category 5 cyclone that swept through the Caribbean, affecting over 1.5 million people in Jamaica, Cuba, and other islands, as well as the heavy toll on refugee agencies tackling thousands displaced by the Sudanese conflict. NTSA, yes, ayadie Presidency John Dramani Mahama no in regards to say obetumi ede acheche nkofo re san nkofo ya Hurricane Melissa yi ababe say omo ba bi omo da omo nyuma eni omo mode of communication ni ade nyina no eno na ye purchase wa bone humodin say ono nso de bibi ebekwa koma omo na countries na medical aka no Jamaica ka ho Cuba ka ho and other islands not just say there are other islands which have not been mentioned but categorized as one. And aside that, in so Sudanese for so among so the yenim say already now there's a bit of political misplacement near the idea ewo honum no among so no yako akwashomo nti yanko ni yanko share video bi I know so ekasa edify this particular story hono ne yeba more updates.
It has a tradition of solidarity and compassion. And so in addition to what he referred to with Guinea and Congo, we also extended assistance to Japan by shipping cocoa products to Japan when they had the tsunami at that time. And so there's another gesture. 3 countries are going to benefit: Jamaica, which is the hardest hit, and then Cuba, but also our colleagues in Sudan. Sudan is virtually becoming the forgotten war. Because of Ukraine and Gaza, it looks like the world's attention has shifted there. And so some of the atrocities, the genocide, and the humanitarian suffering that is taking place in Sudan is not something that belongs to the 21st century. And so we all witnessed recently Al-Fashir when the RSF went in there. A lot of people were killed, a lot of people were displaced, and those people are in camps that are being run by the Red Cross. And so even though Ghana's contribution would not resolve the humanitarian suffering that is going on, we believe that if every country contributes its quota, we can help to alleviate, what is happening in these places. These humanitarian items are worth about 10 million Ghana cedis.
Abusia enunti wei ene ayeye die aye Excellency John Dramani Mahama ayeye na senia wote wo video nim no chese ade esombo pa worth 10 million Ghana cedis wei ena nkofo bi TV sa asemi ne nkofo bi ebo His Excellency John Dramani Mahama baso se waya ade ane president die na te wadwen afoforo so hu kakrai sanse nya wo man mu eni tememu fonko wo man mu na obedwen omo ho na enso afoforo so video yi beto ho pictures ho eba ye na afoforo say na president is anotie akoye de senia ye man mu nsem a eda hoi na nse nso etoto na baby flood nad mo kwa ye hu nyuma nad mo Then so President Apeja Niama worth 10 million Ghana cedis aswa ese o de kwakoye donation e de abo afoforo nkofo se dabi ebe ya onhwe no ndi ne fi asem ebe ya onhwe na niama bi a enkoso e wo Ghana ha na enkoso yie no obetumi aye na waye ni ye sanse niama bi wo hono ma ye tochima na Ghana hampo no ye yi nsuto de to nchen a we have other natural disasters and also affecting a lot of people na ye yi sa natural disasters simple say enna nchen a ye hwe galamse se na galamse nsem ha Ghana for ma enne insuo mpo enflow in the homes of certain people na we nyina chire no wonhwe na wonnye no na etese donation a ye wa abonten outside glory na ye say His Excellency John Dramani Mahama epe sa na nkofo bi eka enti omo say sa outside glory na ope na ene onam ha no ochno onam ha no ene I so ope so solve ye say Palestinian and Israel for case no ope so de ne hu shemu as a pivotal person no omo say be ya onyai impressive post non turning about 10 non sambra Ghana ha say no man ni enku Ghana for so no man ni nku nyuma ekoso wo Ghana ha say ni niama eye of sensitive nature obetumi ahwe na waka na waye ni ye especially with regards to galamsey no esanse nkofo bi si ensuo mpo enflow enfom pipe mu na nanse na quite say akwaya periodically and say weekly enti se wunzuo ma na je se be 4-5 days no o de te ase na mom enya ba ye nsu bomode na bubu ni emanyine fesi ho na che se wonse wa store nsu na nya sa de the next week ansa na wonsa be kan bibisa omusi we nyina a basic necessity a say president etumi hwe no ka galamsey ho asem na etumi nso eboa ema sa nsuo no tumi flow in our homes na sa we ni na ontumi nye ya na wa page ni mu say okwakoye donations e wa outside there ene onya de ye we ene nsem afoforo nso e de ababeto ho with regards to donation His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ekoye de ma Jamaica for de ma Sudanese for essence de ma Cuba for ewo atorenchem atomo no yanko the next update na yeko the next update OSP Kisi Ejaben Ora Kisi Ejaben was granted an interview and then in the interview he made some revelations, very shocking one, about how things went with regards to Ken Ofori-Atta and how they have not been able to solve any issue, particularly issues surrounding Ken Ofori-Atta. Ana Kisi Ejaben says, na nkofo bebre na de bia na yebo OSP nechi. Na OSP aye say, ene OSP nye say, OSP money homoden, chese OSP no wire rubber stamp, wire white elephant, oti office work ke yen shade yen hu ne so mfaso na tua na ye the taxpayers money tua no pa chese. With regards to Ken Ofori-Atta case ni de, I can explain. Osi wo betimi explain enti yanko ni yanko hwe sa video no all kasa de tremu ma ye hu say he has nothing to do with the fact say Ken Ofori-Atta traveled out of the country u de yanko ni yanko tie say no a church ensem no mu ye ba na ya to us
perpetrator from a standpoint. The main perpetrator had no intention of returning back to the country. Of course, he had left the country earlier in the year during the transition. Now we should place this in proper context because we've attracted some flag that why did we allow him to go? Mr. He left before 7 January. Between first, I know the exact date, but I'm not going to mention it. All I'm saying is between first and 6th January he had left. Who was in power during those few days? And we don't control the airports. We don't control the exit. The OSP doesn't control the exit points. But we are taking flag day in and day out. Why did we allow him to
So
go?
in a nutshell, in a nutshell, that the person we are talking about, who is Ken Ofori-Atta, left the country when people who had the power to have prevented it saw it happen and didn't do anything.
No, let me put it this way.
Abusia anonti KSM yenina KSM ena na o interview Kisie Jaben na all bisa nensensem with regards to ejuma oye as OSP ena the expectations Ghanaians are now people are looking forward to towards any nyuma OD say independent body as I say omutumi bring a lot of people to book and to justice now omutumi try cases conflict cases and as corruption cases ne nkeka ho nyina no what the video no ebium the video that has an interview with KSM and Kisie Jaben explaining why Ken Oforiate's case especially he has no hand in it now.
The perpetrator from our standpoint, the main perpetrator had no intention of returning back to the country. Of course, he had left the country earlier in the year during the transition. Now we should place this in proper context because we've attracted some flag that why did we allow him to go? Mr. Misa. The perpetrator from our standpoint, the main perpetrator had no intention of returning back to the country. Of course, he had left the country earlier in the year during the transition. Now we should place this in proper context because we've attracted some flag that why did we allow him to go? Mr. Misa. He left before 7 January. Between 1st, I know the exact date, but I'm not going to mention it. All I'm saying is between 1st and 6th January, he had left. Who was in power during those few days? And we don't control the airports. We don't control the exit. The OSP doesn't control the exit points. But we are taking flag day in and day out. Why did we allow him to?
So in a nutshell, that the person we are talking about, who is Ken Oforiate, left the country when people who had the power to have prevented it saw it happen and didn't do anything?
No, let me put it this way. His cousin was president. Let's face facts.
Yeah.
Before John Dramani Mahama was sworn in on 7 January, Nana Akufo-Addo was the president.
Yeah.
That was his cousin. He had kept him in the office for more than 7 years. Now, who was controlling the airports? The office of the special prosecutor, who was controlling all these exit points. He had left a very curious letter to the incoming chief of staff. That we had seen. And it sounded benign. Because he said, the letter was actually inviting trouble, if I'll put it that way. He made it seem as if he was so open to accountability that any time he was wanted, he would just show up. So it was a very friendly, jovial letter, if you put where he wrote to the incoming chief of staff. He said, I'm stepping out for a little medical checkup.
And if you need me, I'll be back.
If you need me, I'll be riding. So when we saw that, once again, we were not the ones controlling the exits. And then when we intercepted that letter and we saw it, was like, okay, maybe he is open to accountability. So let's see. So when power changed hands, and then we started calling, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was the 3rd week of January that we sought to bring him in. And then things went all right.
Can we conclude then that somehow he left under the watch of the NDC and...
No, he didn't. Let me put the dates very carefully. You see, this is very crucial. I said between 1st and 6th January, he was
1st
already
and 6th, gone. Okay. My mistake.
He was already gone. I said, when he left, the president was Nana Addo Akufo-Addo.
Okay.
At the time he left.
So at the time he left,
in a proper historical context.
Okay. And at the time he left,
and I'm saying that
Mahama had not been sworn in yet.
No, he had not.
Okay.
And I'm saying that at the time we couldn't have blocked him.
Okay.
We couldn't.
Why? Why not?
I think I've thrown a lot of innuendos around for you to come to that conclusion. I said his cousin was the president. We were not controlling the ports of exit and entry. And even then, we were not getting the cooperation at the time from other security agencies.
You weren't getting cooperation?
Why not?
You had asked for them?
Oh, we asked for all that, but we were not. It was as if there was a policy of block the OSP out. That was what we were facing, and that was the circumstances under which we were being expected to perform. I think I've complained about these things over time.
Abusia no nti kisi ajaben e no no so church ni nsem no opache say ya na nsem in pempi no there are explanations to a lot of things but ya no mukita public office nti nyama bi wo ho no muntumi mam bonten embe church mu matememu fo onhya dante ase enu nti onya asa opportunity with KSM no say ne man clarify issues with regards to Ken Ofori-Atta, former finance minister under the administration of the NPP no and opache say enne no e wo mu say omo cases against the Ken Ofori-Atta. Then someone to me and call forward and processing any of the cases and making a lot of progress because nipa na ye hwehwe no kwa ama namba ama yetumi atoto na no and na ye hwehwe na ye hu no na ba ne se no tu kwan e ho no opache say ane akwentu onimu no se ye hu se ansa na NDC for kra no eba benya akonya no on the 7th of January no na Ken Ofori-Atta no pabam na okodedada enti enye se NDC for eba betena aso wieye munya luxury of time na papa no wo krom e no mantumi invite no ama na amma office ama omuni ni ntumi ankasa na emom no it was way before now say way before no kwampo no papa no kura answer no obeko na ye Ken Ofori-Atta answer no obeko no otro letter edeto ho se letter no enu nie se mu hia me se dachin bi mo be se mu bi se bibi na monti asia esan se me na me finance minister metutu sika se monti no monti bibi asia mutumi frame a meba metumi aba na maye krado nso se meba o se sa letter no kra na ba no kwa ni gi esan so hu se ene obi aye ready so oni omo be ye adwuma nanso echire afede koba se ye frɛ papa yi o se ma frɛ na bom homoden nanso abesi enne omunya no eno nso na nchen o se office of the special prosecutor na akoye to say other security agencies and service agencies na aka no empese omo ni omo be collaborate aye adwuma enti so omo pe documents bi efa bibi ho ana omo koye enquiry bi ekofa bibi ho a na akoye so bia twetwe ne ho eno no frɛ no say Operation Block the office of the special prosecutor out. Sadia no say there be emwa ewo munyuma a omudi ho. Emwa emomu ntumi nko manim with regards to cases a omenya. Eba ne sanso agana fo nyina so na de bi ebebo manchi OSP wonya hwiyo. OSP na asemi ba na anka ho hwe. Na OSP na OSP o say nya ne fault. Nyama bebre ho no maye nya ne fault ansa no mokwa no mo beda sorry na nisu betete no na action bi wo ho no ma take place that senia Ken Ofori-Atta de no ekọ so a before 7th of January no NDC for ebeba power no say Ken Ofori-Atta ekokra da enti no o say you and I we were not there. But in the fact and then the findings no and no they are too what they are explaining the whole kama no. Yeah, moving on to the next story now. The next update no. Meaning how many of us know Dan Kweku Yeboah, but Dan Kweku Yeboah is a popular media personality who is also a sports journalist, and then he has made his name. Na any general in terms of ni jokes are sometimes or cracky and sometimes he makes radio very interesting. Cause anytime I'll be no na sebe ubukwempuefu anase niamampo enko ya timi say Dan Kweku Yeboah obetimi akrake 1 or 2 jokes be somewhere na when aje na no he's in deep waters and a lot of Ghanaians are calling on to him ama ononso ababeyi na no akasa pache se Ghana for montu mobo na niama bi wo ho no ma monni masechira mama nka bi enti yenko ne yenkohwe ne enti a Dan Kweku Yeboah na de enti a oka se Ghana for ntu omobo ne se na nsenya president aba say yenye audit with regards to all African games. Now audit ni mo no yes this information ni beto open na Ghana for bi say and Dan Kweku Yeboah sika bi e wo honom he was part of the committee, the sports committee put it together these all African games, you know. Enti information better or say audit, as I say audit cost no. Then he said people started calling on him, say he should bring the money, he should bring the money, he should bring the money. Sika ben is on fambra because contract called tree bremani na contract ne bi okwa wanfa ne nimpo ehu nti aba ne se na ye frefre no ye gigigigi sika woni nsemi yenko ne nkotie ono ani nchire mo no so e de ba ya o de defending no say we de onim hwehwe
there be we de a serious issue na mpese me address issue bi
de he no
say omampani issue statement say 13th African Games near forensic audit. Na me pese me statement be on it. And no go for frame, but I couldn't attend to them because na me deal baby. Yeah, first of all, na me ka say ese ebo mampani aba so say why na adwin say obe protect public purse. Me have always said this corruption any political color. Inti beat OMPP, OCPP, ONDCO. I feel that she will lead our dream on my name. So my sika be do botoma as well you no watch. Inti it's a good thing. Secondly, and your first time ya tournament we are omampenia director say yenye hwehwemu. Obekai can 2000. The later the cook mom so makokran konwa bi conflict bi.
Brazil senche cry call Brazil.
And exactly, even under the same President Mahama. Inti it's a good cause. Na ade ba kwa na me pese me chire ni say. In fact, me ko social media me to me gala ya, you know why?
Tell me.
Say games management system na ye dey games no. Say a media related. Inti the contract sum na ministry needed to be $100 million no. Ghana for binum adwinye o say once adangoku ebu ano ye head of media no chese me na me ko sign sa contract no. Nana aha ndu go ankwasi atwotworo nkran where is the $4 million when am say me
omo bisaw
ai na me $4 million na mdazi obi adwuma senga mambo mrai Nana I want to set the record straight to say contract ye di games ni na nana say contract ni color ye blue say ye green say ye yellow me kwaku ye bo amfo mani ehu bi da
oh yes sir.
Oh yes, in fact even the infrastructure contract no cry this stadium no cry no aban ni award ansa na ye TLOC no because ebia na aban ni feel say ohia time to build the infrastructure nti nana contract from Miami Media a contractor omodi GSI games management system through catering transport whatever say contract in ye blue say ye green of many who be that
but say one now ye head of the media no
enti ideally obi abe azumi sa but nyankopon o hata so ye me dance ni say contractor o musa ye no so mu ko negotiate ye say nipa no so obeji 1 cedi into 20 so mra 2 cedi so starting free 50 pesos. I was not involved in the negotiation. Neither did I see a copy of any of the contract I had here African Games.
One just solid.
Solid yes sir, and we are impressed. One ko sign now agina nkofo GN so assign. Now the paper no ko different. But I'm talking about major contract for games
for media and publicity no.
Exactly. Even when you say sika memeji for publicity mpo. For instance, Peace FM me ba mausi any father Emma me 40% discount. But the discounts can sign call back on my LOC at the document account. Obi asen ko bofedi because so we more and based on that nyama 40%. 40% of 100,000 say about 40,000.
40,000.
I return the money. Intimities will be cause me crutch sad because me baby am free. Me baby am free. Me ma me no we ni pa ba krono de vanity. Timi so mo chocho sam kwasi asem na me hi mangana mboa. No, then I say now the two so where is the $4 million? Where is the
public space?
Huh?
A public space.
Public space will be the chrono to so young questions. Can they overcome?
There be in Canada.
They will be allergic chrono on you.
na sem no nya no kura nya nkwasiasem fere
enya nkwasiasem
day
enya nkwasiasem
okay bawo say sebi nkwasiasem enti honestly wo mu nya isa de no besides nana in as much as figures na ba bontin no ebia people have doubt no we should also be fair in dealing with some of the people omuye adwuma no. I've heard a lot of people on radio and TV whenever they mention games management they said buapayo say denyo no mashada ade de sen ye ko mu nko $4 million. Who on this earth and our international games are obuakwaji games management system de sen ye ko mu nko nana international games be it Olympic Games, African Cup, whatever. Your companies are almost specialization is they provide games management system to host games. Into accreditation, no, one product of games management system. Games management system, no, one athlete and officials or mobile tournament, no, or biometric data na they are supposed to provide it for immigration. No man can say okay, na ya kase otumi kama Rwanda na onye security threat or Ghana games ni bi timu manimra omeye se adwuma no website a obe setting app no ombe ma link all the resources be pie games ni mu na instantly games management system no would have to feed the website. TV production ombe ye no graphics ni bibia games management system no and e de be ma. The accreditation they are supposed to provide you is supposed to have a chip embedded is supposed to be a chip embedded accreditation. Athlete no so okoni dem a sa accreditation e dan kom e no de bebie okọ kitchen e no de bebie. It goes beyond paper ye ko ni tank print abako ye 1 cedi. Inti na smart as the figures
no monte ase ti no monte ase na bia nim so na omunim e na omonye omanwe so ombehu.
In as much as ABR the figures might be outrageous, and America says I can't many. We should also be fair. Say games management system does not only involve accreditation, printing or
New Town.
Exactly.